Everyone, I'm Dr. Liz Easley from the Lancaster campus, and today I am interviewing a former USCL student. So please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your major and where you are in your degree process.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Pesa. I recently have graduated from USC Columbia in May of 2022 with a Bachelor's of Science. I majored in biology and minored in psych. I did my first 2 years at USC Lancaster, and I'm currently applying to medical school, and I'm starting my second gap year.
Fantastic. Well, tell us a little bit about how you got involved in undergraduate research. Is this something that you planned to do when you started your collegiate career?
So no, it was definitely not something that I planned to do in my starting. Actually, I got involved at USC Lancaster first. I got involved with Dr. Galanka and Dr. Johnson, as well as you, Dr. Easley. I kind of was poking around in like the research club, and then Dr. Galanka and Dr. Johnson, they were doing kind of a study on one of the plants of South Carolina, and they asked a group of us if we kind of wanted to do it as a class for a semester. And we did. So we started, taking samples around South Carolina area and doing that. And then that research actually got stopped because of the pandemic. So that was during my last year at USCL. And then when I went to Columbia, I figured, research might look good for, applications in the future. And if I wanted to go the PhD route, I would definitely need some type of research. So after 2020 year, in 2021, I reached out to one of the PIs at the School of Medicine. He was doing a kind of like a neurobiology type of study that I was interested in. So I ended up getting involved with him my senior year.
That's great. Great. So what was your favorite part about participating in undergraduate research and why?
I would have to say my favorite part was probably the teamwork aspect of it. Most people think like research is kind of like a one person type of deal. Even though there's normally like one or two people that kind of come up with the experiment and all the stuff for the experiment, it's really like a collective group effort in order to kind of get the study done. And that's one thing that I personally liked about it is everybody was kind of working together. You got multiple different kind of like ideas thrown, and everybody kind of put their 2 cents in, and you kind of got to figure out, okay, well, how's a way like you can modify it maybe, or if you got to the end and the results weren't supportive of your hypothesis, you kind of had a bunch of different perspectives that could point you in a direction of, well, why didn't this work out? So I liked that aspect. That was definitely my favorite part, to be a part of the team and kind of just grow in your perspectives of life. I also enjoyed that because two people are definitely not the same. That's for sure.
That's one of my favorite parts too, that teamwork, that collaboration. So I completely agree with you. What about transferable skills? What skills do you think you gain through doing undergraduate research? And how will these skills be useful in your future career?
So definitely a skill I think would be part of the teamwork aspect, kind of hinting on the fact that not every two people are the same. So kind of learning how to work with people that are either very different from you or very alike from you, or very similar, I guess you could say. That's definitely a transferable skill that you can use in the workplace, because you're definitely going to come across people that you might not like, you might not necessarily, they might not be like you, they might be raised differently from you. So research is definitely a way to adapt to just kind of like the society of the world, and you can be better personable in that sense as well. You can kind of gain more personable attributes about yourself and kind of be able to just gel with different types of people from different places. Also, I feel like another transferable skill, you read a lot of scientific journals and you kind of have to look to different science during research. So most scientific journals are written in a very sciencey way, as I put it, very big words, and kind of learning how to delve into those and break them down from the big terminology into kind of like lay people terms. That's definitely another skill that I have gained. And I know that for me personally, I will be able to kind of transfer that into medicine, taking big medical terminology from different tests and different labs and kind of breaking them down for patients in a way that they can understand. I think that's definitely a big transferable skill as well. And I think outside of medicine, people can use that because there's always going to be people that don't know the same terminology as you. So finding a way to break that down is definitely a big thing.
Yeah, those are great points. I agree. So finally, what parting advice would you give to a student that's just stepping on campus about undergraduate research, or anyone that's contemplating coming to a USC Palmetto College campus?
So first for the undergraduate just stepping onto campus, I would say that I would take like maybe your first semester to kind of grasp the collegiate aspect of things. College is a lot different from high school. Kind of get your stomping grounds in. And I would say if you're contemplating it, I would say to do it at least for a semester. But don't just do any kind of research lab for sure. Make sure like when you're going into the research and you go onto your school's directory of all the faculty and staff and the research thing, make sure you look at the professor. They normally give you like a little excerpt about them, and then they normally have attached just like the names of the things that they have published. I would recommend reading those because one big thing about research is you want to be interested in what you're doing. If you're not interested, then you're not going to get the full experience out of it, and you might not be a great asset to the team, frankly, because you're not interested in it, and you don't want to let your team down. So I would recommend definitely making sure it's something you want to do, making sure it's a subject you're interested in. But definitely I think everybody should try research. Everybody can get something different out of it. It's not the stereotypical thing that everybody thinks it is. It's not just a bunch of nerds hanging out and stuff. And then for students that are contemplating coming to a Palmetto College, I personally preferred USC Lancaster over Columbia, just because there's a lot different smaller class sizes at USC Lancaster. You kind of get to have a better relationship with your professor as well. So it's, in my opinion, it was a lot easier to learn. Even though some Palmetto colleges don't have that 4-year, you can't necessarily get a biology degree at USC Lancaster. Doing the 2 years at USCL really changed the way that I studied and changed the way that I interacted with my professors. If I could have done my 4 years at USC Lancaster, I definitely would have. But that's besides the point. But I definitely would say definitely to do it. I feel like you get a lot better of an education at Palmetto colleges just because of the smaller class sizes, and your professors, they pay attention to you more. They actually know your name. And that goes honestly a long way, when you're in class and stuff. It went a long way for me, at least when my professors knew my name. I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like they know I exist. They know I'm here kind of thing. But yeah, I definitely I would recommend it, at least, for a year or semester. If it's not for you, it's not for you, at least you tried. But yeah, I highly recommend Palmetto colleges for sure.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us today. We really appreciate it.
Of course, of course.